Trace Trylko, Sons of UCF. The Knights win at Cincinnati, the one that snapped the 5-game losing streak and gave the Knights their first win in Big 12 play, has taken some of the weight off of players and coaches, and as offensive coordinator Darin Hinshaw and defensive coordinator Addison said, also has put a little wind in their sails.
The biggest thing that we were able to win the game in the end, so that's definitely first and foremost, the most important thing. So I'm proud of the guys for that. It's been a long time coming. Yeah. So finally it's good to get that monkey off your back with that one. Other than that, I thought they played extremely hard. It wasn't a consistent run the ball. There were 4 or 5 explosives that ended up happening. That's what we need to get cleaned up. But I thought overall they played with phenomenal effort and tried to do what we were asking them to do for the vast majority of the game.
Defense picked up some turnovers as well. Talk about those.
Yeah, so the turnovers were huge, and part of that was it was good coverage at times. It was also the guys up front affecting the quarterback, something that we've been talking about, and it has not happened all the time, but it was good to see it happen yesterday, kind of have a breakthrough performance. I think it was maybe 9 or so TFLs. I think we had 5 sacks, so those guys did a really good job of affecting the quarterback, and the guys in the back end covered well on some of those plays and were able to get the coverage sacks, or the guys up front worked really hard to get to their quarterback, and the guys were able to make plays on the ball in the air.
How big of an impact, does it just for the confidence level of the defense to make a lot of those positive plays, whether it be a turnover, whether it be a tackle for a loss, whether it be a sack? How much confidence does that give the group in helping them put it all together last night?
It's huge. It's huge because it's something that you talk about, but then when things are not going right, everybody naturally kind of gets down on themselves or lose a lack of confidence. But as their coaches kept trying to just keep them coming. And we saw yesterday that those guys, they played extremely hard, and just even seeing them after the game, seeing their faces and talking about some of the sacks, some of the turnovers, I think is definitely a step in the right direction.
You talked about some of those big explosive plays that you guys gave up. It seemed at times, especially in the run defense, there was times when they were able to get it on the corner and get maybe 15, 20 yards on you guys. What do you guys need to do to kind of eliminate those explosive plays and maybe contain that a little bit, keep them maybe from breaking, turning maybe a 2 or 3 yard run into like a 30-yard run?
Correct. So the biggest thing is setting edges, and then just understanding who is setting that edge, whether it's a defensive lineman, whether it's a defensive back, being a corner or safety, or it's a linebacker. And so what we're getting a lot of now is shifting in motion, just so we put it on tape and showing that has given us trouble. So we just got to continue working, and the guys understanding what that final picture is telling us to, and who are the edge players in those situations based on call.
Cincinnati had 2 100-plus yard rushers. Did you see progress week to week against the run?
A lot of those runs, it was 5 explosives in the first half, and so that's where the vast majority of it came from. The runs in the second half, it was 1 explosive that was, I believe, 29, and the other one was like 10 yards. So it was a lot of them that happened early in the ball game. And so that was something that we made some changes at halftime to limit some of those and get the edge set better, and we were better from that in the second half.
We've talked a lot this year about closing games. Even the Boise State game, even though you guys were able to kind of pull that game out, you mentioned that the defense struggled in the fourth quarter with that final drive. How do you evaluate that as far as they were able to kind of get into scoring position, but then they held firm with the 2-point conversion? How does that factor into your analysis of whether you guys won the fourth quarter?
Yeah, they were able to drive down, but the biggest thing, when the game was on the line, the guys were able to finish. And I think that's a big confidence booster as well. Obviously, we don't want to end up in that situation. But I think as a team, just the way that the game ended is a confidence booster and something that we can lean on moving forward, with the defense having to stop the 2-point conversion, the hands team having to recover the kick, and the offense having to get a first down. The way that they end up playing out, I think, can help us move forward. But obviously, as the defense coordinator, you don't want to even put the team in that situation.
We've talked a little bit about Tremont and his performance this season. He seems to have stepped it up. What has he been able to do to kind of elevate his game to where he's now considered one of the better Big 12 defenders?
One thing about Draw, he really, really cares, and he puts it on the practice field every single day. If you ask anybody on this team within this program, they'll tell you he's one of our hardest working guys, one of our hardest practicing guys, and he's just reaping the benefits of it on Saturdays.
Talked a little bit about the turnovers, but Cincinnati was 4 of 12 on 3rd down. That was important as well to get them off the field as many times as the defense did.
For sure, it's definitely another area that we have not been as good as we wanted to be in, but again, another step in the right direction with them being 4 of 12 on 3rd down.
Nakai got an interception. What was it? I mean, he's continued to grow and get better as a secondary player. What did you see from his performance?
First off, happy birthday to Nakai. Today's his birthday, so it was good to get him win the day before his birthday, and he got him an interception. But Nakai, he's becoming the leader back there, and that's something that I challenged him on with him have started as many games as he started, and just having the maturity that he has and the attitude and the work ethic that he brings to the table every day, just getting him to be more of a vocal leader, not just in the secondary, but amongst the defense. And he's slowly but surely doing that, and he's playing a lot better, and it was good to see him get that interception yesterday in a critical moment, 2-minute situation.
Team came out locked arm to arm, walked out slowly onto the field. Where did that come from? Was that player-driven, coach-driven? What was the story behind that?
Well, it came from the top. Coach Malzahn, he's talked to the guys all week about just staying together. That's been the biggest thing, because it's a lot of noise, whether it's fans, it's media, it's family, and rightfully so. With the product we put on the field, totally get that. But at the end of the day, the guys that are within those 4 walls of that building over there or in that locker room is what really matters, and what we think about each other, how we feel about each other. And so Coach Malzahn's message to the team was, hey, we're going to lock in arm in arm and come together and put a product on the field that everyone is that's a part of UCF is proud about, whether it's former players, alumni, media, or even your families in that situation. Yes.
Did you feel things were splintering a little bit amongst the group as the losses mounted?
Honestly, I do not. I really do not. I think the guys have a team to fight for each other, and you saw even during the game the other day, the defense cheering on the offense cheering on the defense, and just everybody becoming a team. This may be the first game that I've actually seen everybody come on the field together in the fourth quarter. Now, that may have happened. I've been up in the box, so I may not have seen it early in the season, but being down there and just hearing the guys in that huddle at the start of the fourth quarter was pretty impressive, and definitely happy for the guys that the game ended with a victory.
Just coming off that game, after the game in the locker room or coming into practice stage, you feel like there's a bit of an exhale, like, okay, we finally got it done, we got the win, now we can focus on moving forward and getting better. Does it feel like that? I think you mentioned the weight was kind of off their shoulders. Do you feel that with the group right now?
Yeah, it's not. I think that's for everybody in the building to get that first victory. It's always the hardest one to get, but now that we've got it, everybody can, like you said, excel a bit and get ready to move forward. We got a really, really good opponent coming in here this weekend, Oklahoma State football team that has had a big win last week, and they've done a really good job throughout the course of the season. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for our guys to play at 3:30 in front of their home crowd on national television.
Do you feel like Gus talked about after the win that this could maybe give you guys some momentum to go into the remaining 3 games, but also the idea that you mentioned taking the weight off the shoulders. Maybe guys were playing a little bit tight, during that losing streak, and now maybe you'll see some of these guys relax a little bit, maybe in practice, and get back to just playing football.
Yes, that's definitely very, very much so possible. But one thing about this group, whether it's defense, special teams, or offense, the guys never lost confidence. You can tell that by the way they come to practice every single day. And so I think, to your point, we could potentially see guys kind of relax and play a little bit more freely, as I should say. But at the same time, those guys are a confident bunch, and I think moving forward with the game ending the way that it did and finally getting that victory, the guys will be better moving forward. And they're definitely looking forward to playing the Oklahoma State football team.
How satisfying is it to get that first Big 12 win in a road environment against a familiar opponent?
Well, it is crazy that you said that. We talked to the guys after the game about it. It was several guys in that locker room that we went up there 2 years ago, and it was 50-something or 20-something, I believe. And they have a really good environment up there, a really good tradition, especially over the last few years. And for some of those same guys, let's see the faces of those guys 2 years ago up there, and to go in that environment and win a football game there. And in the fourth quarter was really satisfying and very gratifying to see for those guys. Very, very happy for them.
You made the move down to the field. You talked about the last couple of games. How gratifying was it then to celebrate with the players and the coaches at the end of that game, when you could actually be down there rather than being in the box and having to rush down the elevators and rush back out?
No doubt. It was very exciting to be right there amongst the guys in the final seconds of a game versus rushing down and being all dead tired. But at the same time, being on the sideline at the end of the game, I was dead exhausted. I was super excited for the guys, super excited for Coach Malzahn and Terry Mahajan and our president to get that first Big 12 victory, but I was very exhausted at the end of that game, but definitely proud of everyone that was able to be a part of it for sure.
Back on the pass rush, what have you seen in the growth and development of John Walker over the course of the season?
John Walker, he's finally honed in and really actually learning what to do defensively. At times early on, he was just kind of out there playing off his natural strength, but now he's playing within the system a lot more. And as I said before, I think John has the capability of being a really, really special player.
What have you seen from Oklahoma State? I mean, you get another team, again, that likes to run the football, that's going to run at you really hard. What kind of makes Oklahoma State a challenging opponent this week?
They move around a lot, some that we have not been as good at adjusting to at times, and so they're going to move guys around. Obviously, the running back, he's running like a man possessed right now. The quarterback, I believe he threw for over 300 yards the other day, so it's going to be a tough challenge. They also have a pretty good group of receivers being led by the slot receiver, Presley, so it's going to be a huge challenge for us, but with getting that victory this past week, I think it makes this week that much more exciting and guys ready to go into it and fired up about the opportunity ahead.
A couple weeks ago, you said you needed to get back to basics and simplify things. With an opponent of this caliber moving up in the rankings and the running back as talented as he is, do you continue to keep it simple, or do you have to mix things up to compete against a team of this quality?
We'll have, as we're going through the tape, we're going to see some different things that have hurt them, things that we have, things that we may need to put in, but it could be some different things put on tape from the defense this coming Saturday for sure.
It's another home game, and obviously, the last two haven't gone your guys' way. What do you need to do to get back on the winning ways at home? I mean, UCF has built a reputation for being a pretty tough team to play here at the Bounce House. What do you guys need to do to get back to that point where you're kind of putting that out there?
Well, I think with it being a space game, it's going to be a phenomenal environment, so the guys are going to be fired up about that. And one thing we always talk to them about is preparing throughout the week, spending a little extra time, when you're not in the meeting room with the coach, when you're not on the practice field, just spend a little extra time in what we're doing defensively, what we're doing offensively, what we're doing special teams. And then when we get out on the practice field, just putting your best foot forward each and every day. And so we're not having a lot of repeats or anything like that. Guys are building on what we have done in the past, and then just with all of the new things that will go in, just really being able to hone in on those.
You see a little wind in the sails of the team during the Sunday practice coming off a win?
Yes, guys, they're fired up out there, and then like at the end we have some of the young guys or the guys that didn't play much in the 7-on-7 drill. The guys are all out flying around the field cheering everybody on, so it's a really good atmosphere out there for our guys. So again, really happy for them, more so than anything that we was able to get that victory yesterday, because those guys definitely deserve it.
Addison, you guys, there's a month left before the transfer portal opens up, and I know you're focused on these last 3 games, but do you think, as a coach, is there any point where you guys have to start thinking about what do you need to look for in the future, and looking at the portal, looking at guys maybe who'll be in the portal? Does that cross your minds at this point with a month moving into the portal?
First and foremost, we got to put our best foot forward to win this next game, and then we'll move on to the next. But big picture-wise, at some point, you do have guys behind the scenes, that are going through evaluating the roster, saying, okay, we need to be better at this spot, we need to be bigger at this spot, hey, maybe we need to add some depth at this spot. So we have several guys that do a phenomenal job, and then work closely with Coach Malzahn on roster management. So those guys are always just looking ahead and seeing and forecasting what we may need moving forward.
Well, the biggest things are 0 turnovers. We ended every drive with a kick, and that's the formula. It really is. And the other thing was discipline with penalties, and we had a holding call with Randy, and then the other penalty was argued. We thought they jumped off sides, and the referees thought something different. But besides that, we were disciplined, and you saw us not turn the football over. We took care of the football, and again, the other thing too was that just their demeanor, on the sidelines, their demeanor, and the fact that we were going to find a way to win that game. And that's what we talked about all week: is we got to do this as a team, offense, defense, and special team, and we got to do our part. And we got down in the game. They didn't flinch. And again, we drove down and scored. And you look at the red zone situations. Again, we were 3-3 touchdowns. Third downs, we were 50%, which is our goal. And we had some big third down conversions at the end of the game.
R.J. Harvey, heck of a performance. Did you get the sense that he just kicked it into another gear, that he felt like, was determined to carry I don't know if carry the team is the right term, but that he needed to do his part a big way?
Well, the thing about it is it takes everybody. It takes the whole unit for those plays that RJ had big runs. It takes the O-line being able to ID it correctly, to strain on their blocks, on the touchdown run that he had to jump cut inside. It wasn't clean as can be, but the O-line strained. You saw the receivers blocking on the perimeter. You saw everybody involved in those runs. And RJ Harvey's special. I mean, he is, and he runs with passion. I mean, it's he was 7.1 yards a carry last game. The game before, and he's 8.2 yards a carry this game. So we got to continue to feed him the rock and all our running backs. But the bottom line is that it takes everybody. It takes the whole unit. Because if one guy decides to take off the play or make a mistake or not strain or not do what they're supposed to do, then you saw some 1-2 yard runs where that did happen. And those explosive runs continue to happen because it's everybody doing their job.
RJ said 4 straight 100-yard rushing games, though. I get that it's everyone on the team doing the thing, but where has he gotten better as the seasons progress?
And I've had a lot of good running backs in my career, just like Coach Malzahn, and it's one of those situations where he continues to get better as the game goes on, and you can see that he has a knack for vision, great vision, and he also refuses to be tackled, and that's all the traits you want in a back. And he continues to do that. And we got to continue to do it this week.
John Rice seems to get more comfortable running the football. I know he's been dealing with getting with the brace. We saw him kind of as the games have gone on. He's done a little bit more, especially on third downs against Cincinnati. What have you seen that? Are you adding a little more onus for him to run the football now that he's kind of getting a little more? Maybe that knee's getting a little stronger as he continues to go.
Well, there's no doubt that he's rehabbing like crazy. Preventive maintenance and all the things that go into that. There's no doubt he's getting more and more comfortable with it. But there's situations where in the different coverages that they had on third downs and some situations that we thought we could run the quarterback. We thought we could run the quarterback in some different looks where we ran him. And obviously there at the end when we're in 4-minute offense and we got to go in the game, we ran him. And he did a very good job running with the ball. Again, ball security is a huge deal, and he scored down in the red zone. So, yeah, he's getting more and more comfortable. That's who he is. And again, as far as throwing the football, I mean, there was some, Kobe dropped a huge play that we designed to throw a post, and there were some situations where we got to help him at receiver, but there were some times where he threw the ball very, very well, and there was some pressure of his RPO game in using that and being able to take advantage of the defense. And again, those situations got to continue to grow.
Some changes along the offensive line. What went into the thought process and mixing things up a little bit?
They were very good up front, and it was a situation again where we're trying to get the best 5 out there, and we're going to mix and match. The O-line during a game too, whatever we think we need to do to win. And we have a lot of confidence in a lot of guys, but we're also looking at matchup situations and all that, and also injuries have caused us to have to maneuver people around, and we'll continue to do that all year as long as whatever we need to do to be able to get the best 5 out there and what we think during that situation in the game.
No turnovers, but a couple of close calls on some of those snaps.
Yeah, and there was some situation again with we got to continue to be great at center and snapping the ball, and at quarterback. John Rice dropped a snap on a third down situation, which was a crucial part of the game, and he can't do that. I mean, we can't drop the football. But you look at the Oklahoma game, it cost them the game, with a drop snap and some bad snaps, and you see it all over college football. But the bottom line is that we got to continue to, whoever's in at center, whoever the situation is, we got to be great at snapping the ball, and we got to be great at catching the ball at quarterback.
It's a lot of lot of ups and downs to the game with the league going back and forth. You know, with everything that's happened this year, what does it say about this team that they were able to kind of put that drive together to not only take the lead, but then put the game a little bit more out of reach?
It was definitely that feeling in the locker room. You could feel it, when we're in the hotel before the game. The guys, look, this is every game is going to be like this, and we've got to be ready to go answer the bell on offense, and then also be able to end the game. If we're up, we got to be able to come back. If we're down, whatever the situation is, don't flinch and just continue to find a way to go win games, and we did. And it was a fun situation again in the locker room at the end of the game. So many guys had strained and made plays, and Bula came in at center, and the whole deal. It was just a situation where you saw just everybody. Doesn't matter who caught the pass or what happened. Just let's go win a football game, and it was good to see them be able to come together as a team, offense, defense, special teams together, and again get a victory.
Darin, you've been around football for a while. I mean, have you had a situation before where you had so much, not turnover, but you've had to use so many different guys at center? I mean, whether it's injuries or what, you have to keep moving guys in and out. It's game. You've got 9 games. I mean, you guys still kind of have to keep moving guys around. Have you ever been through that before? I mean,
in my coaching career and the plus 25 years of doing it, there's been a lot of situations where I've had a lot of different players in the offensive line you've had to move around, and you obviously would love to have one center the whole time, consistent snaps, and the quarterback of the offensive line. I've been blessed to have had a lot of good centers over the years. But the situation is whatever and we knew this going into the season, that there's going to be some situations where we're going to have to move some guys around to get the best 5 out there to find ways to go win in this league. And it's a very good defensive front league, and we've got to be able to do that, and we've got to be able to go execute the offense, whoever is at center.
You talked about the team staying together following the game. John Rice described it as the offense would give a lift to the defense, and he noticed the defense giving a lift to the offense, and he saw that come together in this game. Did you look at it that way?
Oh, there's no doubt. And Coach Malzahn just preached that all week. We got to go win as a team. And, we talked about, hey, guys, we got to get off the sideline. I know we're trying to make adjustments and do all that, but we got to go root our teammates on and go root the defense when they're out there. And then same thing when we're out there with the defense, we'll do it as together, especially on the road. Hostile environment, and Cincinnati's a tough place to play. And it's a situation where they came together, and again, we found a way to go win, and it was exciting. It was fun. As far as the demeanor of the players and their look in their eyes, and like we're going to go do this. We're going to go find a way.
And the team came out with their arms locked together. How important was it that Coach Malzahn recognized that maybe that was needed this week?
Though there's no doubt it was needed, and it was needed all throughout the game. And the players united, and they came together. And again, it's a situation where Coach talked about, the offense. If it's a situation where we got to rise up, we got to rise up, and then defense, when it's your time, you rise up. And it was exactly what happened during the game. And it was a situation where we needed to make some big third downs and make a big drive and go put the ball in the end zone, and we did it. And it was again a situation where the team did it. The team did it, and that's how you win. You win as a team. It was exciting, and I'm really happy for our players, and again to build off of this and to get that first Big 12 win, and then move forward from there. And let's get ready for Oklahoma State.
Obviously, you got a big challenge in Oklahoma State this week, but from the end of the game to going into practice today, does it feel like there's a little bit of weight lifted off this team's shoulders?
Oh, there's no doubt there is, and we've been in some very close games, all throughout the season, and it was great to come out with that victory and to get on that plane and come home and come back to Orlando with a win. And now we got to build off that, and we got to use that momentum and get ready for a team that is very hot right now and playing very, very well.
What have you noticed from Oklahoma State that stands out to you? You just probably started looking at film, but what stands out to you about that team?
Well, you look at different games, and they've done a great job of winning as a team. And there's some games where it's been low scoring, and the defense steps up, and there's some games where it's been high scoring and the offense steps up, and they find ways to win. And that's what when they started off the season, where it was they were finding their identity, and they found it, and they had a great win against Oklahoma, and it's a big deal for their program. But the bottom line is that it doesn't matter who you play in college football. I mean, anybody can win any game in any situation, so you've got to bring your A game every week.
You talked about the positives, limited penalties, no turnovers, 6 of 13 on third down. What are some other things that you zeroed in on when you looked at this game that you'd like to see week-to-week improvement?
Red zone has been, a bad situation. We've had some turnovers, and again, we have continually done well of scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So we're 3-3 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. We were the week before. We got to continue to do that when we get in the red zone. And Oklahoma State's a very good red zone defense.
Darin, it's been a while since you guys have had a win at home. This is another home game. I mean, what do you guys need to do to kind of get back to winning ways here at the Bounce House to maybe make it a tough place for teams to come in here and play?
Well, again, it's the same formula. We got to go win as a team, and we got to go do that. And whatever the situation and how the game is going, the offense has got to step up, and when it's their time, the defense has got to step up when it's their time, and we got to do it as a team, and we got to make plays on special teams. And then offensively, again, don't turn the football over, and we're going to be in this. We're going to have a chance to win. It's that simple, and be disciplined. And our effort was very, very good on Saturday. You saw kids playing very hard and strained. And it wasn't just like, okay, I blocked my guy. It was like, I'm going to go finish my guy. And you saw receivers running RPO routes and turning and going to get on corners and helping a run that maybe was going to be 20 yards into a 30, 35-yard run. So those are the things that we got to continue to do as a team, as an offense. We got to go continue to do that and play with great effort.
You'd have liked to have gotten that first Big 12 win weeks earlier, but how satisfying was it in a road environment, hostile environment against a familiar team in Cincinnati?
It was, again, it was it was how the game went. We told them it was going to be hard. We told them it was going to be a situation where we're going to have to be able to step up and be able to make a drive in the fourth quarter to go win the game. And then if we do get the ball at the end of the game, don't give it back to them and finish the game in a 4-minute offense. And we stress that to them. And we were ready for a 2-minute situation, where we got to go down, and if we had to go kick a field goal or score a touchdown to go win the game. And those situational football is so big every single week. And again, we went and accomplished those things, and we got to continue to do that this week.
Darin, there's a month left before the transfer portal opens up, and I know you got 3 games to worry about, but when do you start? Do you look ahead a little bit for the next season and start thinking about maybe some guys and areas where you need to get some improvement as you go to the Big 12 the second season? I mean, does that go through your mind in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's always going to be out there in the transfer portal, so we will definitely be looking. We're looking right now. Again, who's in the portal, who's not in the portal, who could possibly go in, all those situations, and it's a daily basis and a daily grind. Once you get into that world, that you go, and then you got to go recruit, and there's a great receiver that's in the portal. Everybody's going to be going after him. And what's the situation? What's the situation if there's a great quarterback, if there's a great defensive lineman? So again, we will be on it, and we've gotten a lot of kids from the portal, and the bottom line is to keep our players here, and again continue to do that, and then again continue to see what pieces we need to go build the program.
Do you feel you, coaches, players, are still on a bit of a learning curve of this Big 12 as the weeks have gone on?
Well, I think it's just like anything that you do for the first time. There is a learning curve, but it's also football too. And the bottom line is our discipline, our attitude, the toughness, our effort, and who we are, and what we stand for, and all those things. It doesn't matter necessarily who you play. You got to go play UCF football, And it was good to go into Cincinnati, into a hostile environment, go get that W. We got to build off of it this week.
Both coordinators describing Sunday's practice as spirited, and that's going to be needed as the Knights welcome in a team in Oklahoma State that's rising in the polls and features one of the top running backs in the country in Ollie Gordon. For the Sons of UCF, I'm Trace Trylko.